A lot of people think I'm crazy for driving my $50,000 Tesla Model 3 for Uber and Lyft, but I think it's crazy not to. I get to make money by driving one of the coolest cars in the world. Why wouldn't I do that? In this video, I'll explain why I think the Tesla Model 3 is one of the best cars for business and making money with ride sharing. Full disclosure, I'm not a CPA and none of this should be taken as legal advice. This is just my personal experience. Also, I'm not a full-time driver. I mainly applied for Lyft and Uber so I could do the video that I did last year where I surprised people by picking them up in my Model 3 and filming their reactions. That video ended up going semi-viral after Elon liked it on Twitter and Tesla tweeted it out to their 3 million followers. So these numbers are based off a limited number of trips that I've completed on Uber and Lyft. Having said that, I almost always enable Lyft when I drive my Model 3, but not because I'm actively looking to pick up riders. In fact, it's for another reason, which we'll talk about later in the video. First, let me show you an example of how much I've earned with my Model 3, then I'll give you some of my best tips if you're thinking about doing it yourself. And if you do want to sign up as a Lyft or Uber driver, I'll leave my referral links in the description below. So here are screenshots of my first 16 rides given on Uber and Lyft, which the following numbers will be based on. The time and distance for these 16 rides add up to a total of 3.3 hours and 108 miles traveled, which resulted in $245 of total income. Now, when you calculate that into an hourly rate, it comes to nearly $75 an hour, which is pretty incredible. However, to get a better idea of true hourly income, we need to take into account mileage expenses and estimated income taxes. Now, when it comes to deducting mileage expenses, there are two ways to do it. You can deduct actual vehicle expenses or deduct the standard business mileage rate set by the IRS, which in 2019 is 58 cents per mile. Now, for the Model 3, I prefer to deduct the standard mileage rate, and here's why. Anytime you have the Lyft or Uber driver app enabled, you can claim a deduction of 58 cents per mile driven. But that standard mileage rate was originally designed for gasoline vehicles in the hopes that the 58 cents per mile deduction would be a fair rate to cover all expenses, including things like gas and maintenance. But we all know with a fully electric Tesla, there are no gas expenses or oil changes or any other maintenance related to an internal combustion engine vehicle for that matter. So the standard mileage rate is actually a really good deduction rate for electric vehicles. When I deduct 58 cents per mile for the 108 miles I drove, it comes to a total deduction of about $62. Now this means we can subtract that from the total income earned, which results in a taxable income of about $182. Now if we assume 30% for income taxes, that results in an estimated tax expense of about $54. And the only other expense we need to account for is the cost to charge the Model 3, which will almost always be much cheaper than gas, but it also depends on your location and your electricity rate. For me to travel those 108 miles, it costs $2.11. So now we can take our total income of $245 minus $56.81 in estimated tax and charging costs, and that comes to a net hourly rate of about $57 an hour. That's really good. To put that into perspective, if someone who made that much worked a normal 40-hour week, they'd be making over $100,000 a year. Of course, this hourly rate does not include the time driving without a ride request, but here's my secret. 99% of the time that I drive with Lyft or Uber enabled, I'm not specifically looking to pick up riders. And here's why. Since all Tesla models are considered luxury cars, they're eligible for premium rides, which essentially means the rate earned is double that of a normal ride request. So when I go out and drive for Lyft or Uber, I have it set to only accept premium ride requests. This does two things. It lessens the chance of getting a ride request because the majority of riders are requesting normal rides, and you make more money per ride given because it's a premium ride in a luxury car. This is mainly why I drive my Model 3 for Uber and Lyft. Remember earlier when I said I almost always enable Lyft when I drive somewhere? That's because I can claim all those miles as a business expense. Now this is the perfect setup because anytime I drive somewhere when I'm by myself, all I have to do is leave about 10 minutes early and then I can turn on Lyft, and since it's only set to accept premium rides, I hardly ever get a ride request. So it doesn't really inconvenience me, and if I do happen to get a ride request, it's worth it because it's a premium ride which earns more money than a normal ride request. And since I have my own side business with YouTube and videography, being able to claim almost every single mile I drive adds up to a sizable business deduction, which lowers my income tax bill. For example, so far in the first 5 months of 2019, I've driven over 9,000 business miles, the majority of which have been just from enabling Lyft anytime I drive, and the deduction is already up to $5,266. That's huge because remember, I'm not buying gas to drive those miles. My total charging cost for all those business miles is only $177. This is why I think if you drive a lot and have any type of business or self-employment income, ride sharing a Tesla Model 3 is a great way to build up a big tax deduction while keeping expenses low. But even if you don't have a business, I still think it's a great idea to consider ride sharing a Tesla Model 3 for these main reasons. You're spending a lot less money to drive because you're not buying gas. The Model 3 requires a lot less maintenance compared to gasoline cars. You can claim all mileage as a business expense as long as the driver app is enabled. In my experience, riders seem more likely to tip just because they get to ride in a Tesla Model 3. For most, it will be their first ride in a Tesla, and since the Model 3 is so futuristic and unique, it's exciting for people to ride in it, and all my riders so far have been genuinely intrigued by the Model 3, which I believe has led to better tips. That's also the safest car ever tested by the US government. It's eligible to accept those premium rides, which means you make more money per ride. The extra income could help pay for the car, and the best part, you get paid to drive an amazing car while putting out way less emissions into the environment compared to gasoline cars. As you can see, electric vehicles, especially Teslas, will play a huge part in ride sharing going forward. Lyft has already started rolling out a feature called Green Mode, which allows riders to specifically request a hybrid or electric vehicle, and Tesla plans to announce their own autonomous ride-sharing platform, which will allow Tesla owners to let their cars go out and ride-share with nobody driving whenever full self-driving is made legal. If you want to know more about that, I did a video explaining it here. So what do you think? Am I crazy for ride-sharing my Tesla Model 3, or are you planning to do it yourself now that you've seen how it works? Leave a comment and let me know. Hit that subscribe button to see more Tesla and tech videos in the future. My name is Andy. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.